Yo, hello. The Raptors get absolutely demolished by the New Orleans Pelicans, losing by 41 points, their worst loss of the season, their worst loss at home in a million years. Fifth worst loss in franchise history. They allowed 24 threes. I'm just going to put up this tweet by Keeks. They allowed 24 threes, the most they've allowed in a game in franchise history. Trey Murphy hit 10 threes. That was the most they allowed by a player in franchise history, and their worst home loss since ever. So, not a very good basketball game. Going into it, the Raptors always struggled against the Pelicans. They always they've been a thorn in their side, to say the least, recently. And it wasn't a good matchup regardless. No Scottie Barnes, no Jakob, no Bruce Brown, and Ochai Agbaji started the game, but he left halfway with knee soreness. So you were down four guys who at least recently have been playing pretty consistent minutes for you guys, especially Scottie Barnes and Jakob, who are two of your most important players. And games like this are going to happen, folks. You're going to get absolutely stomped out by a really good Western Conference team. I'm excited to see what the Pelicans do in the playoffs this year, because if they play like they play the Raptors all the time, they're going to win the NBA championship. But I don't want to talk about the game. The game was atrocious. Not that many takeaways you can gain from a game that was probably over before it even started and was definitively over by the second quarter. So not much to take away there. There's a couple of things. Javon Freeman Liberty, someone made fun of me because I called him Freedom Liberty the other day. Javon Freeman Liberty played, scored 13 points, had some cool plays. Hopefully he gets more run in the rotation, especially with these injuries that the Raptors are dealing with. But otherwise, that's about it, folks. There wasn't really anything else to highlight in this one. It was tough. The Pelicans are just good. So, you guys, instead of a recap, I asked you guys to ask me questions, and I'm going to go through and answer all these questions for you guys because I love you guys. Okay, Blake asked me rank the performances of my fill-in guest host. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to answer that question, but it was me. I really can't answer that question. Everybody was actually awesome. Lindsay was incredible. Samson was incredible, even though I didn't really listen to Samson's episodes. No offense. I see him all the time. I interact with him all the time. And yes, honestly, yeah, all of them killed it. Vivek, and hey, there's still more on the way. Wink, wink. Okay. Goose asks, if LeBron was Spider-Man, which players over his career would make up his Sinister Six? This is like feeding at all of my cravings as a person, as a human being. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say the number one Sinister Six villain has to be, I guess Steph Curry is in there. I think Steph Curry would be in there. That would be the one you would put in there. The other guy, Paul Pierce, would be another Sinister Six member, so that's two of them. I would probably say Kawhi Leonard is a third Sinister Six member there. Number four, I think number four would, that's tough. He's had some nice run-ins with Draymond, but he's also Draymond's friend, a little bit of an anti-hero type of situation here. I think Lance Stevenson is one. Let's just throw Lance Stevenson in there because I saw someone in the comments say it, but I completely agree. Lance Stevenson has to be one. Speaking of Stevensons, the Mavericks, JJ Barea and Deshaun Stevenson. Either way, JJ Barea has to be in there. We're at 5. We need another one. A final Sinister Six member. If I were to go ahead and say, let's see. Another Sinister Six member, Skip Bayless. I'm going to say Skip Bayless is the final Sinister Six member. He's like the Green Goblin of LeBron. Okay. What are your 3 favorite types of cheesecakes, or your top 3 cheesecakes? That's Dream Sizzlack asking that. Top 3, just regular, nothing on it, just cheesecake, regular old cheesecake. Number 2, there was this like praline cheesecake someone got in my family once that was super, super fire. Definitely up there. And birthday cake cheesecake is super fire. I had it once at Cheesecake Factory. I could only have like 2 bites because it was so sweet, but I felt like I touched God in that moment. D13 Drafts asks, what are your personal favorite food spots in the GTA? Tacos, Seven Lives, definitely have it. Go and have the Gobbinator. Gayubi, Japanese barbecue, super, super fire. I'm sure if my wife was here, she would remind me of a bunch of other places that we've been to as well. But yeah, those are the two that like I recommend to anybody who comes to Toronto. Okay, Mike asks, do you think the Raptors can catch the Grizzlies for the sixth worst record? Can you answer in French? Mike, my friend, this is a joke between media members. He always asks, I try to talk French with Mike when I see him in person. And so I'm going to give it a try, okay? Je pense que les Raptors, I don't have anything written here. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not even going to look. I'm not even reading it, okay? Je pense que les Raptors est archivé, goal, archiver la goal que I guess surplant. I don't know, man. Surplant. I don't know. You've lost me, Mike. I have no idea. But I will talk to you about this when I see you in one of these Raptors games. Pascal Propaganda asks top 4 on Letterboxd. I am terrible at keeping up with Letterboxd. I need to, especially as a person who watches as many movies as me. But like, I guess my top 4 movies ever: Interstellar, The Dark Knight, Inglourious Bastards, and probably The Grand Budapest Hotel. Very weird range there. There's a lot of Nolan, a lot of Tarantino, and then just a Wes Anderson movie. But yes, those are probably the top 4 that come to mind. Makai asks, if you had to choose some things to recap and break down about this game and you had to drop a video in the morning, what would you choose? This is the same question that Samson asked. Samson asked, my cue, if you were to recap the game with film quotes, how would it look? I don't know, man. It's just bad. I'm not answering that question because it's going to make me do a lot of work, and the Raptors don't deserve that after tonight's game. Okay. Ochai Latte Nassim asks, who would look better bald, you or Samson? Samson has been sporting the bald look for quite some time now. So I think people are more used to Samson going bald, right? Or looking bald or being bald, because he is obviously bald. If I were to go bald, I think I would have a nice look to me, though. I think I would be able to catch a vibe, but I'm holding on for dear life. This little McDonald's hairline is staying. Okay. Bun asks, why no recap? Yeah, because, your personal Oscar picks. I think that Oppenheimer should win Best Picture. I love some of the other movies out there, but I still think Oppenheimer should win Best Picture. I was really shocked that some of the Barbie noms didn't happen. Like, I'm still pretty wild that Margot Robbie or Greta Gerwig just didn't get nominated for any of the awards. But yeah, I think Oppenheimer will win a lot. I think Barbie will win a lot. I really want Past Lives to win a few as well. But those are, I guess, my personal picks. I bet pretty much every year on the Oscars. It's like one of the only things I ever bet on. And I'm not going to lie. I do pretty well, folks. I do pretty well. Okay. Jake asks, compare Raptors players to Dune characters. I'm going to just quickly pull up Dune characters. I will tell you off the bat, though, Paul Atreides is Scottie Barnes. Promised One, the Chosen One, franchise player, all that stuff. The parallels are there. And the stand stuff and everything along that side is if you've watched Dune 2, it's kind of funny. Okay, Duncan, Idaho. No, we'll keep it to Dune 2. Why not? We'll keep it to Dune 2. Actually, let's go Dune 2. All right. Fade Rotha, Austin Butler's character. Well, no, he technically wouldn't be a Raptor. Maybe you could say he's RJ Barrett. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and say he's Quentin Grimes, okay? He's Quentin Grimes. Princess Irulan, she's from Florence Pugh. Let's say that's Emmanuel Quickly. Gurney Halleck, let's go. Maybe Gurney Halleck is like Darko Rajakovic, huh? He's Darko. Stilgar is... Actually, Stilgar could also be Darko. So he's like, he's played by two different characters. Yeah. Okay. To answer your question, I think that would be it. Okay. Let's see. Mitch asks, how good would the Raptors, 2019 Raptors, be in 2024 at their ages? I feel like they'd be good enough to make the playoffs, but get beat up inside. Agree with you on the beat up inside because their front court would be, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, Chris Boucher, and Greg Monroe, and like, three of the four of those guys is not in the league anymore, and Chris Boucher doesn't play. So, like, yes, they would definitely get beat up inside, but I think they would be a sick team. If you think of OG, Fred, Pascal, Kawhi, Kyle coming off the bench, Norm still cooking for you, I think they would be really good. Obviously, like the depth concerns be damned, but that would be a really, really fun team in my opinion. Obviously, no Danny though, unless you put Danny in there just for fun's sake. Okay. Alan, my guy, asked, could you live on that Dune planet from Dune? I'm assuming you're talking about Arrakis. If you're talking about Game of Prime or whatever, hell no. I might be able to survive in Arrakis, but dog, I love me my water. I love me my water. And I don't know if I could deal with, hey, don't tear up. Don't cry. Don't cry because I need that water. That's crazy. I don't know if I could deal with that. Okay. Will Brom, my guy, says, who are some players you'd like to see the Raptors target via trade to improve their wing defense? Well, they played one of them tonight. Herb Jones would be a player I would target. The Pelicans are obviously dealing, they're going to have to start paying their guys. They're going to have to start paying Trey Murphy, and things start to get tight financially with them. Maybe they move CJ McCollum. Maybe that's the way they go about that. But I mean, if I'm a team, like, yes, Herb Jones would be the type of player that I'm targeting. There's a few other guys out there defensively that could work with this nucleus, but I think that's like the one guy that kind of pops to mind, especially after the Raptors just played the Pelicans. Kalo for life, what is your favorite basketball movie? That's tough. Does Uncut Gems count as a basketball movie? Because if so, I'm taking Uncut Gems. Yeah, I don't know. I love what's it called too? He Got Game. Like I really love He Got Game. Above the Rim, also a great movie. I love Above the Rim. Okay, but yeah, so those type of movies. Okay. Brian Heel, if the WNBA expands to Toronto, what should the team name be? A lot of good suggestions throughout Twitter that I've seen. I can't really think of one that like resonates with the city as much as Toronto Huskies. Now, for what it's worth, like I could understand not wanting to call a professional women's basketball team Huskies, but at the same time, I think it would be cool. I think it would be pretty historical. I've heard like Toronto Talons, I think would be cool. Someone said Toronto Fox or Foxes would be cool too. A fox is a pretty cool mascot in general. I just hope that they sort of connect it to the city in some way. Don't make it a Raptors related thing, but try to connect it to the city in some way. I don't mind Toronto Towers either. Towers is pretty cool. Okay, Chad Reeb asks, what is the Raptors' quickest way to becoming a good defense? Getting good defensive players. I know that sounds very simplistic to say, but right now the Raptors are missing Scottie Barnes and Jakob Poeltl, two of their best defenders. Emmanuel Quickley is more of a team defender, so in this context, he's not going to look the best. I think the same thing applies to RJ Barrett, although RJ has a long way to grow himself defensively. I don't think any of the other players on the team are really guys who they're going to be banking on in the future. Obviously, Grady Dick and Ochai Agbaji are, but those two aren't guys that are going to like swing your entire defense. I think the Raptors just need to go out and get better defenders and go out and get players that can match their defense. So replacing that OG Anunoby, finding that Precious Achiuwa and Pascal Siakam, just, three wing guys that can maybe be a little bit more versatile for you also offensively. So that is what I think the Raptors would have to do to become better on defense. Raptors Club, you get to make any Raptor a foot taller next season. Who do you pick and why? A whole foot taller? Give me Scottie Barnes. Why not? Scottie Barnes is 6'8". Give me 7'8" Scottie Barnes. How do you feel about that, Victor Wembanyama? Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. That would be incredible, by the way. But yes, a foot taller, absolutely. I mean, think about Scottie. Scottie with 6 more inches is Giannis, essentially. Giannis is 7 feet tall, so it's like 4 inches. But essentially, he'd be like Giannis, right? A whole foot? Dog, that would be crazy. Okay, Joseph Daniel. After tonight, how likely will it be that the Raptors keep their 2024 draft pick? Hasn't changed much yet, Joseph. The Grizzlies, they won last night against Portland, I believe it was. And obviously with this Raptors loss, it makes it a little bit easier. They still need to drop a little bit to pass Memphis and give themselves a better chance at a draft pick. Nat London asks 0 minutes for Chris Boucher, WTF. Look, man, I think the organization realizes that like they know what Chris Boucher is. You know, he's played. He's a 30-year-old player. They know what Chris Boucher can do. They're not in the business of developing Chris Boucher. I don't think so anymore. And so they're trying to give more minutes to Jonte Porter, to even Kelly Olynyk, because they know Kelly Olynyk is going to play a big part of this, future, get him to have more feel with Grady Dick and Ochai Agbaji. I don't think the Raptors necessarily view Chris Boucher as a future player for this team. And so, there were even conversations of trading him at the deadline. Nothing really materialized. I would imagine they reapproached that situation in the summer. So I don't think there's going to be really minutes here for Chris Boucher as the team focuses on developing other players. Norm God Stan Spida X Raptors said, what do you think of mint chocolate chip ice cream? Listen, man, I'm a big boy. I like ice cream of all shapes and colors. I do not care. I will eat mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's not my favorite. I wouldn't lie to you. It's not necessarily my favorite, but it's good. I rock with it. Listen, someone asked me the other day, I'm going to have dinner with my friends on Friday. They're like, hey, are you cool with this restaurant? Cool with this restaurant, bro. I'm cool with food. Anyways, Raptors Club says, what is Grady Dick's best comp and why is it Ray Allen? It actually isn't Ray Allen. It's Klay Thompson. And it's funny because, there were a couple reporters asking some of the Warriors people about this comparison and what Grady might be able to learn from him. I actually think the best comparison is probably Klay, just because of his off-ball movement, his ability to make plays out of that. Really interested to see how that looks. So, yeah, Klay. Raptors Club also asked, what are your favorite NBA Twitter accounts? Shout out Caitlin Cooper, Nikias Duncan, Joe Varai, Samson Folk, obviously, Evan Gilberto, although he doesn't really do NBA stuff as much anymore. I'm just thinking of a bunch of different accounts. There's so many, like Shamit Dua, who does Pelican stuff. He does incredible stuff. You should have checked out his stuff from today. There's a lot, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on a lot of people. Steve Jones Jr., Zach Lowe. Like, Zach Lowe's not necessarily a Twitter account, but just his podcast and whatnot. I'm sorry. This is a terrible answer. I apologize to you. But maybe I'll get back to you on that. Do you have rainy day shoes or rain boots, or hey, maybe you wear anything in the rain? I am actually really bad with this. I have a rain jacket. I have one single rain jacket, but I don't have rainy day shoes or rainy day boots. But I do have a little windbreaker type of jacket that I wear when it's starting to rain a lot. So I guess that would answer your question. Kartik asked, Mount Rushmore of Toronto restaurants, personal favorites. Mina, what is our Mount Rushmore of Toronto restaurants? What is our Mount Rushmore of Toronto restaurants? What is you don't know what a Mount Rushmore is?
Like the best restaurant?
Yeah, top 4.
7 Lives.
7 Lives, yeah. Got you, B. Give me 2 more. Like, we love them. Come on, think of it. 7 Lives, Guyubi.
A dumpling place in Marco.
Oh, the Northern Star Dumpling Kitchen. Yes, that was fire. Yep.
Those are the only places we got.
Yeah, no, okay, we got 3. We got 3.
Bar Isabel.
Oh yeah, Bar Isabel is pretty good too. Okay, that was that was a throwaway though. We've been there once. Okay, anyways, yes, those are my top Mount Rushmore of Toronto restaurants. Overrated? I actually can't think of any Toronto restaurants that are overrated. Although maybe Batty Alley's, because like the pizza lineup, like who is standing in that lineup for that? No disrespect. Oh yeah, Mount Rushmore of Toronto restaurants north of Brooklyn as well. North of Brooklyn pizza would definitely be there. Okay. Still West, how many times did you get your shot blocked in that commercial? you're in to get the perfect angle. So listen, obviously these people are very, very good at their jobs. They knew what angle they wanted almost immediately. The guy looks so big because he's on a stool, okay? He's on a stool and he's blocking my shot. But the thing is, my head kept going into his chest because I kept barreling into it. And I'm like, guys, like I can only do this for so long. I'm starting to get messed up here. I don't want CTE. And so they were like, all right, cool. And I think we did it in like 10 takes. Okay. A Victor, who should the Raptors target with the Indiana pick ranging 14 to 18? Listen, man, I saw the mock draft today from Jonathan Givony. If Ron Holland, who was supposed to be a first round pick, ends up in that range, or a lottery pick ends up in that range, go ahead and take him. If, I've heard, shout out to Hoop Goose. He talks to me about draft stuff in that chat a lot. Isaiah Collier, that Jared McCullough guy. And then what's his name? Yves Missy. So these are three names that kind of pop up all the time in the group chat we have. I'm not necessarily the biggest draft person yet. I will eventually be in a couple of months. Once the Raptors season is over, I can kind of dive into the draft more often and see what the Raptors can look at. But those are the names that I've sort of heard about, at least initially. Banting come back. Portugal Prince asks, first jersey you ever bought? I think the first jersey I ever bought was an Andrea Bargnani jersey, number 7. And the only reason it was the first jersey that I ever bought was because 7 is my favorite number. I wore it all through, rep basketball in elementary school and all that stuff. I wore it when I played in high school a little bit too, even though you couldn't wear 7 for FIBA rules. So I switched it to number 3. Either way, I wore 7 a lot when I played basketball. And Bargnani is sort of close to my last name as Beraheni. So it always made me feel like I was wearing my own jersey. And so I just love that. Even though you could customize your own jersey, it made more sense. It was cooler to me because it was closer to my name and closer to my jersey. So yes, Andrea Bargnani, number 7. And funny enough, another great guy, one of my favorite players of all time from the Raptors, probably my favorite player of all time from the Raptors, ended up wearing number 7, ended up winning a championship with it. That's Mr. Kyle Lowry. Yes, you know. Go Sports Go asks, does Darko make it to year 2? I think he absolutely makes it to year 2. And I actually want to commend Darko because I think he's been an excellent coach throughout this year. I think that he has had to deal with a lot when it comes to roster changes, when it comes to dealing with injuries, when it comes to figuring out who's going to be in any given game, any given night. I think he's done a pretty good job of trying to instill what he's been trying to do stylistically with this team. And it's just unfortunate because his leash got cut short with the Scottie Barnes injury and the Jakob Poeltl injury. We were really seeing what a Darko Rajakovic team could look like post All-Star break, and unfortunately that was cut short. I think he's a good coach for where the Raptors are at right now, and I don't think the Raptors are going to be moving from this position over the next couple of years. So yes, I do think that Darko will stay till year 2, and I'm going to make a bet here that he even stays to year 3. Okay. Do you play any, Aisha, I believe that, yeah. Do you play any instruments? If not, if there is one you wish you could learn? I used to play the piano when I was a kid, and I asked my mom if we could buy a piano to practice in the house, and she was like, we do not necessarily want to buy that because you're not going to continue. And you know what? She was right. I was lazy with it. So, but I kind of regret being that lazy about it. I wish I got into piano because it would have helped me a lot more when I tried to be a rapper in another life. But that's another story for another day. What did Chris Boucher ever do to Darko? We already talked about that. Benjamin Wrights also asked, Jamaican patty, samosa, or falafel wrap? I'm going to rank them for you. Jamaican patty, number 1, extra spicy beef. Samosa, only from Brampton, the big ones, but yes, that's fire with the red sauce, super tough. And then last is falafel wraps. Falafels are a little too dry for me, to be honest with you. But if we were to switch it to a shawarma wrap, I'd flip it, go shawarma first, samosa middle, Jamaican patty next. All right, Jeff Koenig says, who's on your Mount Rushmore of announcers? Mike Breen, Ian Eagle, Chuck Swirsky, Shout out Raptors legend. And probably, let's see. Honestly, Jerry the King Lawler. I'm pretty sure I'm messing his name up. I apologize because I believe he passed. Rest in peace. But the dude from WWE, also a great one. All right, when are we gonna be a 500 team? Says OM Connor. Not this season. I think the Raptors will be a 500-ish team next year, though. I don't think they're going to be bottom of the barrel. I think they'll be a 500-ish team next year, especially if they add some stuff in free agency. I think they'll get back to at least that level, if all things are healthy, obviously. And folks, I believe that is all the questions. Oh, actually, I think there's one question remaining, and I left that question for last because I really rock with this question. Indu asked me top 5 favorite films, 5 favorite series, 5 favorite albums, 5 favorite books. You're only allowed to buy the same 10 things from the grocery store for the rest of your life. What do you buy? Favorite films I already went through, but Whiplash, Inglourious Bastards, Interstellar, maybe Dune 2, honestly. Dune 2 might be up there eventually. Yeah, I don't know if I got to 5 there, whatever. 5 favorite TV series. Ooh, that's so tough. That's so impossibly tough. I can't even think of it. The Watchmen TV series is up there. Lost probably is up there. Succession is up there. Yeah, I'm blanking really hard right now. Prison Break, probably. OG Prison Break is probably up there. I'm very seriously blanking, and I apologize. 5 favorite albums. I have to do one that doesn't include Kanye West because I could really just say 5 of Kanye's albums. But My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Good Kid, Mad City, Watch the Throne. What's it called? I'll go with the Queen album, the one with Bohemian Rhapsody in it. I'm blanking. It's literally right there. I think I'm going to go with Michael Jackson, Thriller. I don't know. That's just off the top. 5 favorite books. Honestly, would take me hours to tell you. I could give you top 5 favorite comic books if you want, but that's another story for another day. You're only allowed to buy the same 10 things from the grocery store for the rest of your life. What do you buy? Oh my God. Okay, the essentials. I'll go deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste. Let's go with bread. Actually, let's take out bread. Let's go rice, cheese, chicken, steak. This is gonna be terrible. Oh my God. Does this include ingredients too? Can I get a spice rack as one? And I guess oil, because I'll need oil to cook. And yeah, I guess that's it. Oh my God, that was terrible. Anyways, I'm sorry. I think I actually really butchered your questions here. I really apologize, Indu. But either way, folks, thank you so much for indulging in me doing this Q&A. The game was just not worth talking about. It really wasn't. The Raptors head on a road trip, 4-game road trip. They play the Suns, they play the Nuggets, they play the Blazers, they play the Pistons. And then after that, they'll be back home for a little bit. And maybe I'll get to go to a couple more Raptors games. But yeah, that's it, folks. The season is almost done here on the Raptors side of things. A couple of interesting things that you guys can watch for, but none of them were in this game. So thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. As always, subscribe to the Raptors Republic YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys later. Take care.